All right, guys. When you guys come up with another question in the live chat, I'm just going to go with the question that you guys sent in any comments of any of our YouTube videos. Again, if you're watching this and you are not watching this live, you can't ask your questions. You're like, God, I wish I could ask questions to those two, dashing people right on the camera. Well, just do so by putting it in the comments of any videos, and then I print them. And when we have a bit of time right here, I just go and answer that question for you. So here you go. But best is to show up live. It's every Sunday, New Zealand time at 8 a.m. Anyway, Meka Batija on YouTube ask, can you please make a video or address in your live session on the pros and cons of staying in a hostel versus Airbnb? Since hostels are in sharing basis for bathroom and kitchens, the hygiene part is really getting me nervous, especially for the bathroom and toilets. All right, so Airbnb versus hostel. It's a question that we actually do receive quite often. Because Airbnb is growing so fast, a lot of people are kind of considering that as their main way to get accommodation. But there is a lot of big difference. And yeah, it's not a clear cut of which one is the best. That's for sure. So let's get started with hostels, right? So some of the pros is that usually hostels are much cheaper. Compared to Airbnb, we find across the board in New Zealand, and we just come back from 5 weeks traveling, right? We've done a bit of everything. And we find that Airbnb are usually rather more expensive than a hostel. Yeah. Even if you go for private room, Airbnb tends to be more expensive. The pros of the hostel is that they're cleaned regularly. They actually clean them every single day. Even the dorm room, especially the bathroom. Most actually, or hostel in Auckland, they clean the bathroom twice a day because there is, so many people in there. So they clean regularly. One of the main advantage of staying in a hostel is that you get to meet a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're traveling solo, especially, other solo travelers tend to use hostels, and it's usually a lot of people that are really open-minded and looking for other travelers to do activities with. So if you are looking for a more social experience, then hostels are pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely the case.
Yeah.
Plus, hostels have other services like breakfast and tours and nights.
So hostels do offer different things. It obviously depends on what the hostel is, but a lot of hostels offer free breakfast. They offer, sometimes they offer like interesting things like pudding nights, or they do.
That's in Nelson. Yeah. Tasman Bay Backpacker in Nelson, chocolate pudding night. Boom.
Yeah, there's like hostels. I know there's one I saw in Napier recently, which does dessert nights on Thursdays or soup nights. Hostels in Franz Joseph, where it's pretty cold, they do free soup and popcorn and stuff on night. So there's like a lot of it's more of a sort of community vibe where they try and do extra free things for people to, get everyone together and just create a more pleasant atmosphere. There might be free bike rentals, communal spa pool to take advantage of, or game tables. There's usually a lot of things for entertainment. So yeah, hostels try to create more of an experience where on the other hand, Airbnb is literally just sort of the room for the night.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Airbnb then now. So now on Airbnb, one of the really good things is that you have privacy. You're by yourself almost all the time. Even if it's in a shared house, you have your own room, and you very often in New Zealand you have a sign on the door that goes into the rest of the apartment saying "Do not enter." So you have your own little privacy, and very often you have your own bathroom. Most of the Airbnb will have their own bathroom there. But on the other hand, it's more expensive. It's a solo experience, right? In New Zealand, it's so rare, like so rare. I think out of all the Airbnb we stayed in New Zealand the last 3 years, we met a host once.
Yeah,
that is it. You're never gonna meet the host. You're not staying with local. It's a little bit of nonsense right here.
Or you do have to do some really good research to see if the locals. Usually, you can see in the reviews whether the locals actually do provide that local experience. Otherwise, it's just usually locals wanting to make some extra money with their room.
Yeah, so that brings the fact that those are not registered businesses, so they don't rely like hostels on your reviews and making sure that everything is up to standard. So the cleaning is not happening. Like if you stay in a hostel, the cleaning of the bathroom is happening all the time, right? Constantly, as we mentioned. If you stay in an Airbnb, unless you check out, the cleaning of the bathroom is not happening. So you stay in an Airbnb for 1 week, it hasn't been cleaned. So technically the hostel bathroom is going to be cleaner. That's just as simple as that. So that's one of the things that you need to kind of remember with that. And also, I mean, one of the things with Airbnb is that you have a lot of kind of different experiences. It's all over the place. Sometimes you have some places, man, you check in, you don't want to stay there.
There's different standards for sure. So, you know, some Airbnbs, they might be really cheap, but that might mean that, you know, there's not much cleaning that goes on, or, you know, different people do have different standards of cleaning as well. Remember that, like, you know, when you've been to different people's houses, sometimes some houses are pretty dirty, some are really clean if there's like a really anal person that cleans everything. And it's the same, you are going into people's houses where they do have different standards of cleanliness. So you do have to bear in mind that sometimes Airbnb can be pretty dirty, and what the owner considers as clean might be not what you consider clean. So but otherwise there are obviously hosts that are overboard on the cleanliness, and then that's always nice.
I mean, one time we had a really cool clean place, and then the host showed up with croissants for breakfast, and so you have those exceptional experiences. But in my personal experience, I find that there is much more consistency staying in hostels rather than Airbnb, where it's all over the place, and you have sometimes it's like one amazing experience, but mostly like you kind of like, oh, that was a lot of money for what it was. That was a lot of money for what it was. I feel like this is mostly the feeling that we've had in Airbnb in New Zealand.
But the one thing to just also note about staying in Airbnbs or hostels in New Zealand, and the way that people travel around New Zealand, is usually they're moving from place to place pretty quickly. You don't really stay somewhere for a week, where usually if you're staying in a dirty place for a week, that's when things get a bit like, I wish I wasn't here. But at least with the way that people travel in New Zealand, moving on quite quickly, it's usually just like, okay, at least I'm only here for one night, and then we can move on somewhere else. Or there might be other options around. You can just say like, I'm not going to stay here another night, I'm going to try somewhere else. So there's always those options as well if things are really dire.
So you won't suffer the lack of accommodation in New Zealand, that's for sure. So budget, thinking about budget as well, if you consider Airbnb, consider also Hostels and Motels, because they're similar prices in New Zealand. So you could actually have a really nice kind of historic hotel for the same price as an Airbnb. So consider all the options, not just one or the other. And it doesn't mean that one is better than the other. I mean, if Laura and I have to choose, almost every single time we choose a hostel, right? We do like hostel more. We like the experience. We like meeting people. We don't necessarily like just to be just the two of us all the time. It's all about the human experience when you travel. So that's what we would choose. But we are different than others. So you may just want privacy. You just come here because you want to see that mountain and you want to be by yourself. That can be that. So Airbnb, therefore, is really good for you. But don't forget that in between a hostel and Airbnb, you also have motel, you also have a hotel. So check all the options. And we list a lot of them. We list our favorite Airbnbs, we list our favorite hotel, we list our favorite motel, we list our favorite hostels, we list all of
holiday parks as well.
Holiday parks, we list all of that on BackpackerGuide.NZ. So when you go on BackpackerGuide.NZ, click on accommodation, and you've got literally hundreds of lists of all the hostels. We spend we just come back from 5 weeks again. We spend our time going to ton different accommodation, doing activities, checking out places, just so you know where to stay and the thing that we recommend. So make sure to check those out. And remember the one thing that we realized, hosts actually don't know what B&B stand for when they host Airbnb. So don't think you're gonna get breakfast. Bed and breakfast has been completely lost. Airbnb stands for bed and breakfast. That's what B&B is. You're never gonna get breakfast.
Unless stated in the listing.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. So that wraps it up, all this Airbnb talk. More links in the description below for you guys. Any questions in the comment below, type them and we answer them. And if you find that useful, like, subscribe, be cool. That's pretty much it. Let's go back to live chat.